Let's break down the golf swing of Collin Morikawa. Morikawa obviously being one of the most successful young players in the game of golf with 2 majors and 6 wins on the PGA Tour. From my perspective, this is my favorite golf swing to look at, and also from an instructional standpoint, this is a swing that so many people can learn a lot from. So let's break down some idiosyncrasies of this golf swing that anyone at home can learn from in order to make their golf swing better. Now let's start off by taking a look at Morikawa's setup position with the driver. Now this is a pretty athletic stance to me, really good posture, not a ton of knee bend, but one thing that I love about this position is that in a lot of golf swings, the arms will kind of hang down at address. It's just where that comfortable posture is. For Morikawa, they seem to be a little bit out. And although that's not necessarily conventional, one thing that I love about it is the further out your arms, and obviously you don't want them crazy far out, but the further out your arms, the more swing width you're just going to start with. And you're kind of promoting a swing that goes around the body as opposed to really coming inside and then coming over the top and hitting a little bit of a slice. So I really like this address positioning. Very athletic in my opinion. Now let's take a look at this swing in super slow motion. Again, you see that pretty wide takeaway. That's a real result of how he addresses to the ball. And here at the top, look at how bowed that wrist is. There isn't a lot of club face rotation throughout this motion, so that bowed wrist really allows for Morikawa to control the club face at the top of that backswing with that positioning. Now, having a club face that's a little bit more bowed will lead to a more open club face, which would promote a fade. So Morikawa is luckily on plane when he comes down through the ball, because if you're a little bit over the top and you have an open club face at your impact position, you're probably going to be hitting some slices. So if you're, watching at home and you're drawing the ball a little bit too much, maybe hitting a hook, trying to implement a little bit more of a bowed action could be something worth looking into. I will say that playing with wrist angles at the top of the backswing is very tricky, so do it sparingly. I don't want you to reinvent how your wrists act at the top of your golf swing, but having that bowed wrist certainly works for the athletic move that Morikawa has, especially in the impact position. Now, I've already stated that I really like the setup positioning and that wrist positioning at the top of the golf swing, but what I love the most in Morikawa's swing, and something that you can really see in the non-slow motion videos here, is the tempo. It looks like he's really taking the club back very deliberately and focusing on all of his positions throughout that takeaway. We see a lot of issues with tempo and swing synchronization when someone takes that club away really quickly, and then maybe the hips fire a little bit too early, and everything gets out of sync. So my all-encompassing general golf advice for someone who's really struggling with consistency in their ball striking is try and slow down that tempo. For me, I remember that I was pretty fast in my takeaway, and I kid you not, I actually, on the range, thought about Collin Morikawa's tempo in particular, just because I think it's such a wonderful motto of nice, slow, deliberate tempo. It's not uncomfortably slow, but it's a really deliberate position, and at the top of the backswing, that slow takeaway really allows him to get in the perfect positions with both the irons and the driver. In my opinion, this is one of the most athletic motions on tour, super fluid in my opinion. One thing that's very interesting in this motion is the footwork. So let's look at this slow motion view. We see a little bit of weight transfer in the feet right there. That heel doesn't come off the ground, that front heel, but that back heel, his right heel, comes off the ground a little bit early. That back heel coming off the ground early is indicative of a little bit of extra hip rotation and core rotation. So this is not a golf swing that gets a ton of power from the arms and swing speed through the arms. It's very rotationally driven, and I think that's a really great way for a lot of golfers to learn how to gain speed. It's not trying to whip your arms down and get all this crazy swing lag. That's not it. Try firing those hips a little bit more, getting that lower body active to begin that downswing with some nice hip motion. It's a great way to get a little bit more speed and feel more confident getting the ball out there further. I don't think Morikawa really gets enough credit for how far he can hit the ball. He's really gotten some nice distance off the tee, and he remains one of the most accurate ball strikers on tour. You can't really do that unless you have a nice lower body motion. And it also certainly helps to be very athletic and in shape like Morikawa is. So from the setup positioning itself to the swing tempo and the lower body motion, there is so much to love about this golf swing. I know that Morikawa hasn't really broken into the winner's circle recently, but I'm sure he's here to stay. One of the elite players in professional golf. I would love to hear your thoughts on this motion. Anything that you may have questions on that I mentioned or even failed to mention, please leave all those questions and comments in the comment section down below. If you enjoy swing analysis like this and other golf instructional content, please feel free to subscribe to the Scratch Golf Tips YouTube channel. As always, thank you all very much for watching. Play well and take care.